On paper, PC Jeweller seems like the better deal than Kalyan Jewellers in terms of higher operating profit margin and lower valuation in terms of a lower price to earning multiple. And many operators are also selling this logic to small investors. But higher OPM and lower valuation is a completely wrong comparison. I will show the real picture behind these numbers in just 10 simple slides. Operator जो कहानी small investor को बेच रहे हैं, मैं वो कहानी डेटा से डेमोलिश करूंगा. Every slide is important, so stay till the very end. So first, let's look at the comparison between PC Jeweller and Kalyan Jewellers. Price to earning multiple. PC Jeweller has a price to earning multiple of 12. Kalyan Jeweller has 56. Now this is the logic many operators are giving to small investors. Now let's look at the 5-year sales growth. PC has a 5-year sales growth of minus 15%, whereas Kalyan Jeweller is growing at 20% plus. Second is the 5-year net profit growth. PC is at 5%. Look at Kalyan Jewellers is 38%. So higher PE is because of better and higher sales and net profit growth. और ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है. PE अगर ज़्यादा मिल रहा है उसके पीछे कोई रीज़न है. उसके पीछे रीज़न है कि growth. The company is showing a higher growth. Now let's look at ROE, the 12.7% and Kalyan Jeweller at 16%. ROCE, PC Jeweller is at a very low 6.55. Look at Kalyan Jeweller, almost 3 times, 15%. And the book value, PC Jeweller is at 10 rupee and Kalyan Jeweller is at 52. So here, if you are looking only at the PE और बोल रहे हो कि भाई PC Jeweller का PE बहुत कम है, look at the growth, the 5-year sales and the 5-year net profit growth. And even if you go back, the 10-year, Kalyan Jeweller is far better. Now the second logic which the operator are selling to small investor is that the PC Jeweller has a higher operating profit margin than Kalyan Jeweller. No doubt, PC Jeweller का OPM है 18%, Kalyan का है 6%, and PC has a much higher operating profit margin. But this does not mean PC Jeweller is healthier. It simply means PC Jeweller sells far less. So its fixed costs spread over a smaller base, creating artificially high margin. Think of it like this. I'll explain. If you sell 100 rupees and earn 18 rupees, this will show you a OPM of 18%. Now if you sell 20,000 and earn 1,200, you show only 6% OPM. But you actually make big profits. So Kalyan's 6% is on a massive revenue. Kalyan Jeweller has a revenue of around 25,000 crore, whereas PC Jeweller sells around 2,500 crore. It's a huge company, and Kalyan 6% is on a massive revenue. PC Jeweller 18% is on a tiny revenue of 2,500 crore. So any higher percentage on a shrinking business is a misleading strength. Now, like I talked about, 25,000 crore of revenue and 6% OPM creates massive profit for the shareholders. This is the real difference between PC Jeweller and Kalyan Jewellers. Kalyan sells 10 to 15x more than PC Jeweller, and PC Jeweller sells only 2,224 crore. I mean, this is the FY 25 figure. So even if OPM is 6%, the absolute operating profit is huge, for Kalyan Jeweller. Large efficient change always have lower margins. I mean, this is something you must remember. Higher turnover, better vendor negotiation, faster cash cycle. I'll come to this point in detail. Better ROCE and ROE that you have seen in the first slide. And Kalyan volume machine hai, low margin, high turnover. And PC Jeweller low volume, high margin, but small absolute profit, which will be distributed to shareholders. So they have a large equity. Now that will result in a lower EPS. Now this is a very important chart to understand both the OPM and the other valuation number. Debtor days, 57 days. Kalyan Jewellers 6 days. The debtor who take goods from Kalyan Jewellers, they pay in 6 days. Whereas in case of PC Jeweller is 57 days. Inventory days, 1373. Here it is only 162. Days payable, PC Jeweller 3 days. The kind of credit they get from the supplier. Supplier wants their payment in 3 days. Those who are supplying the raw material, whereas in case of Kalyan Jeweller, it is 39 days. Cash conversion cycle, 1428 days it takes to convert a goods into a complete, sales. Whereas in case of Kalyan Jeweller, it's much faster, 129 days. Working capital days 796. See the kind of saving Kalyan Jewellery is making, 23 days. ROC we have discussed earlier 7%, and here it is 15%. Another related chart is this. So the same working capital trap I'll explain you in much detail. Debtor days, PC jeweler को wait करना पड़ता है 10x longer to get his money back. Days payable, PC jeweler pays suppliers immediately because they want money, otherwise they won't supply to PC jeweler because of their track record. Working capital day, PC jeweler needs a lot more money to run daily operation, so it's a cost to the company. Inventory days, PC jeweler stock sits for almost 4 years. Can you imagine? 4 साल तक के stock रहता है store में या godown में, and उसके बाद बिकता है. This shows how inefficient is PC jeweler. Cash conversion cycle, PC takes nearly 4 years to turn inventory to cash, so you can imagine the kind of working capital requirement they will have and the costs that will come to the company. ROC, Kalyan earns double the return on its capital. See, other thing which retail investor keeps talking is that PC jeweler बहुत सस्ता है, Kalyan jeweler बहुत महंगा है. Now look at the kind of institutional interest which is there in PC jeweler and Kalyan jeweler. Now mutual funds, PC jeweler is 0.11% of their total shareholding. It's not even 1%. Kalyan Jewellers is almost 14%, and the big fund are Franklin and Motilal Oswal. I mean, these funds have credibility. Motilal small cap has got almost 9 to 10% stake in Kalyan Jewellers. Franklin has around 1.31. Now, अगर आप म्यूचुअल फंड देखें तो पीसी ज्वेलर में सब म्यूचुअल फंड भाग गए हैं, कोई नहीं है. Only retail investors are buying this stock. Now, foreign institutional investors. PC jeweler 12.61, but if you see, the bigger investor is Unico Global. Not much is known about this fund. They are mainly in SME and small cap companies. So they claim to be a global fund, but I don't know who is behind this fund. They are very active in the SME space, and they do a lot of preferential allotment wherever there opportunity. I mean, they recently bought even stake in G when there was a problem. Now, if you look at Kalyan Jewellers, Nomura India has a stake 1.24%, Government of Singapore 1.79%, and the total shareholding 13.89 is much higher than PC, and they are very credible name, and I am sure the others with less than 1% will be very credible names in Kalyan Jeweller, whereas in PC Jeweller I have my doubts. Now, other very important thing for small investor is the equity dilution, because आप अभी आज का जो P देख रहे हैं 10 या 11 का, now if the complete dilution will happen, that thing will go up to 20-25 times. Now I'll explain you how. Now look at March 20, exactly 6 years back, PC Jeweller has equity of 395 crore, Kalyan की 839 थी. Now come to September 25, I think March is 636. Now from 400 crore is going to 700 crore plus. It's almost going to double the equity capital. Now here look at Kalyan Jeweller, 839 crore to 1000 crore. It's just 150 crore addition. Whereas if you see in the last 3-4 years, the equity is same 1300, 1030 crores. Whereas here 636, 725, and we don't know about March, if there is further conversion, it will go to 800 crore. So the entire balance sheet is funded by equity, and that will impact the EPS. And if EPS will go down, your valuation tomorrow will be 20 PE, which you are paying right now for a company which has a lot of governance issue. I have made a video which is already there about the kind of governance issues are there in PC Jeweller. I'm sure many of you must have seen it. Those who have not seen, I advise please take a look about the kind of governance issues PC Jeweller have faced in the last 3-4 years. Now let's understand, if the equity dilution is happening, what kind of an impact that will make on PC Jeweller. First is the company survival. Now they are completely dependent on fresh equity. If you have a large equity and lower valuation parameter, banks are not going to give you loan. Banks have already suffered. They have given loan to this company. Now they are converting their loan into equity. They have no other option because company is not able to pay. It was making losses in the last many years. Tomorrow, the company is entirely dependent on fresh equity. That will lead to further dilution in PC Jeweller. Number two, debt capacity. Like I talked about, exhausted. Lenders lost confidence. And ये जो सारा restructuring अभी हुआ है, उसके बाद मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई बैंक इनको, प्राइवेट सेक्टर तो कभी देगा ही नहीं, पब्लिक सेक्टर जो SBI, यूनियन बैंक जो लोग दे रहे थे वो भी नहीं देंगे. Shareholder value, existing shareholder lose value, going forward if equity will keep rising. Growth type, dilution-led growth is not equal to real growth. If you're increasing your equity, if your entire balance sheet is funded by equity, that is not equal to growth. So PC Jewellers' balance sheet is actually weak. Equity dilution, like we talked about, reliance on equity as a temporary solution leads to further dilution. Weak demand, reduced consumer interest and sales due to financial instability. You don't get better credit from suppliers, lender distress, loss of confidence from financial institution. That will hinder access to further loan in future. Capped returns, shrinking owner earning, the declining EPS, that limits the long-term return potential in any company. Now inventory problems, we spoke about it earlier. Difficulty in managing and selling products due to financial constraints. Poor cash generation, that also we talked about. Inability to generate sufficient internal funds for operational and growth. Now again, coming back to the valuation part, why PC is not getting a valuation of let's say Kalyan Jeweller? Now it's about the promoter. Now let's look at the promoter's track record. Now regulatory history, insider trading investigation. There was an investigation earlier, though they got a favorable order from Supreme Court, but there are disclosure scrutiny, and they also made a settlement with SEBI on certain compliance issue. So there is a track record here where SEBI has taken action against the company. Implications, governance issues, transparency lapses, financial stress and risk premium. So there is a higher risk premium today, if you are taking a position on PC Jewellers stock. Now look at Kalyan Jewellers. No known major penalties by any regulator. Lower regulatory risk है, fairness है of financials, and investor confidence है. So जैसा कि आपने देखा, दो बड़े issue in the lower valuation and higher OPM I have addressed in my video. In case you have any query on PC Jeweller or you want me to make a specific video on PC Jeweller, do write in. And just to make a disclaimer, this video is purely for educational purposes. In case you want to buy, sell or hold, do consult your financial advisor.